In this video, which is part 21 of how to create your custom candlestick chart in Chart.js, what we're going to do is basically start to do a zoom functionality. If I click on this here now, we are now able to zoom in, and you can see here it will work nicely. Of course, this part here is still not covered, so we're going to cover that eventually, but right now we're going to make sure that the zoom functionality works nicely. So let's start to look how to do this. So now what we're going to do is, because right now we have everything working, but what we want to do now is, the moment we do this, it should immediately trigger a zoom in effect here. So let's start to look at how we can do this. So we're going to scroll down here all at the bottom and continue on with our function. So we have this function here, and what we're going to do now is basically after this here, we're going to put in another event, which is basically the mouse up. So when we release the mouse button, at that very moment we want to do something, which is zoom in. So we're going to say a canvas dot, and I'm going to say on mouse up, and I'm going to say here we just register the event and callback functionality, and then in here I'll just give it the name drag end. That will be the function name, and this will consist of a few items. We have the E, and then we have basically our drag starting point and drag ending point. So we have here already end drag point, and we have here the start drag point. So now we have this, and then just let me double check, we have them here as well specified. And basically what this does is, when we do a mouse up, it will trigger this specific functionality and give us the event and these values here. But of course this value here, this is very important, the starting and ending doesn't have to be in this same order. What I mean by that is, when we drag like this, in this case the end will be here, but if I drag it like this, then the start will be here and this will be end, while this drag or the start drag point will always be the one that is static. So what we're going to do now is, let me just show you, we just do a console log, or before we even do that, we say first the function of drag end, and then in here I'll just say here, what we can do here, proper name is maybe drag end, that's fine, and then I do here comma, and we'll say here start comma end, and then I do here console log, and if I just say here start, and I do here console log end, save, refresh, open up developer tab, and then if I'm going to drag, and then if I let go, you can see here 1 and 3. Alright, we have a lot of distraction here, so what I'm going to do is I will just clear out all of these first. So 470 and 484. So 484 was this one, the zoom box, alright, and 470, there we are. Now maybe here the drag at 460 as well. So let's save that, then refresh. Now nothing works, or at least it doesn't show anything except for the ones we drag. Which is correct right now. In this case 1 will be index 1 here, and then 4 is this one here because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. So this works nicely, but of course I want to make sure that this is intelligent enough to understand if it is larger or smaller. So what I'm going to do here is basically quite simple if statement. So we say if start is smaller or equal to end. In that case, what I really want to do here is I want to reassign the x.min, and that will be equal to basically our date. So the x.min is the variable that we already have, and or basically what I refer here is the scale, in the scale.x.min in the options. And then what I want to do here is, what is the array name? We have here the array name, the dates array. Alright, so I'm going to grab that. So I say dates array, the minimum value will be based on start, because now start would be smaller or equal to end. So then it's alright. Then we'll say here x.max. So we have now here the x.max, and that one will be just this item, but then here end. Semicolon, save, refresh. Alright, so if I now do something here, we have this, fair enough, but we have to make sure this will update. So I'm going to say here, chart.update. Save that, refresh. Now if I grab this, alright, doesn't update yet, or apparently I cannot use this. So what I need to do here is probably I need to say here, chart.config.options.x, or .scales.x.min. Alright, we just have to specify it completely. I thought we could do it with a shorthand, but that's not possible. Save, refresh. Now if I drag, there we are. So, but of course, what about the opposite? If I do like this, well, let's refresh that and just do like that. Well, of course, it gives an error or it doesn't respond. It doesn't understand what's going on. So what I have to do here is an else. Quite simple. I just copy this, put that in there. Then here we just do exactly the opposite, and start. Save that. Refresh. Now if I do like this, there we are. If I refresh, then I do like this. Alright, interesting. It still gives a unexpected response. There we are. Oh, okay. Apparently, when we're going here, this might look quite weird. And I guess what we should do here, I believe we should have at least a minimum X amount of value differences. What I mean by that is, if we have only one, it just doesn't make sense to zoom in only on like this. This just doesn't make sense. What I want to do here is, basically, when we zoom in, it should zoom in and give us at least, let's say, 3 or 4 data points to show. That will make more sense. So that is what I'm going to focus on in the next video.